Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be reviewing The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5 Reunion Part 2. So we pick up basically right where we left off with Giselle being verbally dragged by Monique. Yikes, girl. Andy asked her, like, you know, how are you and Jamal? And she said, we're fine, we're fine. Like, it was cringy because it was like she was floored to the point where she didn't have anything to say. Like, she was just like, all she could say was, I'm fine. Like, they asked how she was feeling about the whole thing, and even Wendy was like, I feel like you're not displaying how you feel on the outside. Like, you're emotional on the inside, but you feel like you can't display your emotions on the outside. And, you know, she feels like that's coming from a genuine place, but she said, I'm fine. It was very Tiffany and Insecure. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And it just seems like anytime they asked her about something, she was just struggling to come up with words, and the words had no meaning. Like, she was just sputtering out whatever would get Andy to move on to the next topic. Giselle has done this to so many people that, I mean, I can't even muster up the strength to feel bad for her, because this is what she does. And it's funny because whenever people do that same thing to her, she's like a deer in headlights. Like, she's like you remember when Robin said something about Jamal never being here? She looked up like, it's like, you can dish it, but you can't take it. So they break for lunch, and of course, everybody is talking their crap. Robin and Giselle are talking. I mean, what, you don't have anything better to do with your life but to sit there and come up with a binder? No, as a matter of fact, Robin, you probably need to do the same thing if you want to keep this job on this show, because you and Juan going back and forth is only gonna last for so long. We've already been tired of that storyline. Giselle had a lot to say afterwards, but she didn't have anything to say when she was sitting in front of Andy and all them. Figures. So they come back from lunch, and what do you know? They're waiting on Robin. Andy's tired of Robin and her tardiness. Like, he said, are we seriously waiting on Robin again? Robin, girl, you better get it together. Okay, so we move on to Ashley. They talk about all the drama throughout the season, you know, the new baby, her healing from having a son, as far as postpartum depression, and physical healing of her butt. They talk about the trip to the lake house and how all those allegations came out about him, you know, cheating with the girl that he met, and just all the drama surrounding her and Michael. Because, I mean, with everything else going on, it's hard to remember that all that was even going on. And I'm sure she loved that. She even said it. She was like, the heat's off me. So Andy has been extremely messy this reunion, but I only watch Atlanta and Potomac, so maybe he's like this with some of the other franchises, but I just feel like he was especially messy this reunion. So he tells Ashley, like, you know, I hate to talk about this when you're pregnant because, you know, I don't want you to be like emotionally upset, but it seems like every year at every reunion, you are having to defend Michael and his actions. Of course, she reveals that Michael is not there. So you leave your pregnant wife to be at this reunion, which I'm sure is a highly emotional event already. Like, I feel like if I were going to something like this, like, my nerves would be bad. Like, I would be nervous, like, who's gonna come at me? Who's gonna have something to say? Am I gonna have a comeback good enough? Because if I don't have a comeback good enough on national TV, do you know I will lose my mind? Like, I am one of those, I should have said this, I should have said that. So if I would have had something like that happen to me on national TV and I didn't have my comeback ready, I would just, I don't know what I'd do. It would be terrible. So I can only imagine being pregnant, having to go in there and talk about some of the most intimate parts of your life, and having to defend your husband and all his crazy actions that he's had over the past few years. I'm sure that was difficult. He chose to go to the wedding instead of stand by his wife when she's got to go, and we know what that was. Ain't no wedding. Ain't no wedding. Here's the thing with Ashley. Every time her husband does something crazy, like in the beginning, she didn't do it because it wasn't much of anything to tell. But as things started happening again and again, then she started revealing more and more and saying, oh, well, you know, I can't get mad at him for doing that because I did it myself. So, like, I did it myself. I had my own indiscretions in the past. That's what she calls it, indiscretions. I've had my own indiscretions in the past. And that's the reason why when he did it, I didn't. So she's sitting up here on this whole, like, she's almost like a politician. I think somebody said that on the show. But yes, it's like the politician that's like, yeah, especially when she was at the place right before the fight happened, and she was like, Michael and I have also, like, girl, stop. Michael and I have been in this situation before, and sometimes I don't buy it. I do believe y'all have threesomes. I believe he goes off and does his own thing. But don't try and justify his actions by saying, oh, I did that before too, unless you're just gonna say, let's just say we have an open marriage. Just so you won't have to keep explaining what's going on, just say you have an open marriage and just be like, it's fine, like, I don't care. But I think she's not doing that because she's got her uncle up and her mama. And I think those two have her in a place where she doesn't want to give away a whole lot of information, which I can understand, because if I was on national TV and this stuff was happening, I wouldn't want my mama to know either, or the rest of my family. But yeah, it just seems like every time something happens, she's like, oh yeah, we talked it out, we saw a therapist, we did this, we did that, and he and I are stronger than ever. He and I are better than ever. He and I are closer than ever. It's like, girl, I don't believe you anymore. I just feel like I don't see why people don't understand this. Ashley grew up with an unsteady financial background as far as her mom having to take care of her on her own, and then her mom having to leave her with other family members from time to time to get herself together, to go do different things. She wants stability. She did not have that father figure in her life. She said herself that she sees her husband as somewhat of a father figure. And you know, that is messed up, but I mean, that's what she believes. So why can't people understand that this girl is with this man for the money? I don't care what she says. She knew what she was getting into, and she wanted that lifestyle. And I believe that she is only staying in that lifestyle right now to get herself in order. She claims there was no prenup, and she claims that the postnuptial agreement has fallen through. She didn't do that. Cool. But I believe she's having these children and getting things together. It's all documented on the show. If she were to go to court tomorrow and they were getting a divorce, the 2 kids plus all the stuff that they have on Potomac, she's gonna get lots of child support. I'm sure the judge is gonna favor her. I'm sure. So let's not act like we don't know what she's doing and why she's still there. Apparently Katie said that she had a sexual encounter with a Potomac cast member, and she is denying. I doubt there is anybody else on that show besides Robert, aka Robin, that, I mean, I don't see Robin doing that with Katie. I don't think they got along, if I'm not mistaken. It was Ashley. So they get into the incident where Michael took whoever home, and they had the picture of him in his boxers the next morning, and they also had the video footage of them cozied up together chatting the night before. And she still stands by her word. Yes, they spent the night. He was there the next morning. He was still there the next morning, but nothing happened. And Andy and everybody else are just like, girl, are you serious? Like I said, she's just cool. I'm gonna let it slide with everything. I'm gonna let it slide. But as soon as those papers go across the table, oh, she says, plain and simple, if he cheats, I am leaving. Of course, everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah, see, all right, yeah, see, she's gonna leave. No, 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 no. Because everything Michael has done up to this point, she has denied, denied, denied. So she, the next time something comes out, which is probably, I mean, what, they just stopped filming? It's probably something happening right now. I'm sure she's gonna say, there is no evidence that that happened. Like, she's gonna be that person that's just gonna deny. And she'll be like, yeah, if he ever cheated, I'm gonna leave him. But he didn't cheat. He spent the night with this person, but he didn't cheat. He went on vacation with this girl, but he didn't cheat. She's just gonna deny it unless you have footage of them. She's not gonna, and even with footage, she's still gonna say it didn't happen. So we switch over to Karen. They talk about Karen and her marriage and the different challenges with that, and how she doesn't want to retire. She's not ready to retire and give it up. I feel like at this point, even though it's, you know, she's in her 50s, she's just getting started. You know, she's got this fragrance, she's got the wig line, like she is ready to go. They talk about her drinking and how she was drunk at the lake house and all the things that she said, and she did say she wanted her money back. And since they had that footage, I'm sure that's when she decided to not act like she didn't know what they were talking about, because she did say she wanted her money back. So when she was telling the other girls, I did not say that, she did. Karen be lying. Karen be lying. But once she realized they did have footage of her actually saying that, then she realized, you know, she talked to him about it, and she realized this is really selfish for me to be asking my husband, who has taken care of me all these years, allowing me to get to this platform. Why are you asking for the money back? Like, y'all are a team. Y'all are supposed to be in this together. And Andy was just saying, like, he feels like he's seeing a side of Karen that he hasn't seen before. And she says, well, you know, I'm an onion, I've got layers. And he calls bull on the whole thing. And he says, you know, it was very hard, like trying to pry the layers back to get her to open up. And she says it's because her parents were still alive and watching. And that makes sense based off of how she was raised, and in that first season when she was going over the top with etiquette, and this and that, and a lady should never be doing this, and this is never how you should act. It makes sense because a lot of the older generation is like that. And you know, if my parents are watching me on a show like this, I'll be like as soon as I say a curse word or something, I'll be looking for my mom to bust in the room and pop me. So we switch over to Monique, and we basically just get a rundown of all of the things we've seen throughout the season with her. Even though it wasn't that much, unfortunately, we see that, you know, she is really not in over her head, but she's really struggling with the 3 kids, and you know, taking care of her husband, taking care of the children, and trying to be on the show. And it seems as though, you know, the kids were even, her daughter was a bit disrespectful in my opinion when she was asking her about her day, and she said, we don't care, mommy. And I'm like, I don't know if that would fly with my mama, even with her being that small. I don't think it would. And then Chris is just as bad as the kids, not concerned about anything. With Chris, she is somebody to take care of him. And she just fills the traditional role of a housewife. And she's trying to make herself more than that and be like, oh, I got these businesses and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and taking care of the kids, and managing properties, and having Not For Lazy Moms, and doing this. She's trying so hard to prove herself to the world that she is more than just when Chris tried to impersonate her, getting on her knees. That was yikes. But I mean, that shows that's what he thinks of his wife. I mean, I'm sure that's not all he thinks. I'm sure he loves her, like I don't doubt any of that, but wildly inappropriate for the moment. So we get to the meat of what's going on with this season. And basically, they start out with trying to pinpoint where everything started. Friend Gigi started this rumor that she was having an affair with the trainer, and it's understood that Chase may not be Chris's child. So it really shows the misplaced anger when it comes to Monique, because of course Gigi is the one that revealed the information to Charisse. Charisse told whoever. I know in the beginning they also had a clip of Ashley talking to, I think, Giselle, if I'm not mistaken, explaining this rumor. And then on top of that, nobody on the cast revealed any of this to the world in their confessionals except Giselle. Giselle is the one who started all of this, stirring the pot. So Giselle is the one who explained it in her confessionals, word on the street, and oh, she's irritating. So I mean, if anybody should have got popped, it should have been Giselle. But you know, Candace was an easy target. Of course they're not gonna go for Giselle because they act like Giselle is the queen bee of the group, which she's not. Okay, she's not. But I really feel like Candace was the easy target, and everybody else, she's not gonna fight Gigi, she's not gonna fight Giselle, she's definitely not gonna fight Robert, she's not gonna fight Charisse. But Candace, that's the size of a 19-year-old. Of course you're gonna fight her, girl, of course. And even then, all you did was hold the wig and bop her 3 times. But I'm not getting into all. So really, Giselle's head should have been on that table. However, it was almost like she made herself look very stupid. Monique did. Monique made herself look very stupid because when you go back and go through everything that happened throughout the season, Giselle is the one who revealed the rumor to the world, even though she said, you know, it's too nasty, I'm not gonna repeat it. Giselle was word on the street. And you see in the season, in the beginning part, she's just laughing and kikiing. So you mad at Candace because she invited Charisse to the party. It is also revealed that Candace called Karen, which she should have called Monique, but we'll get to that. She calls Karen and says, hey, they're bringing her child into this, the paternity of her child. Like, this is rough. And you know, I guess Karen told Monique from there. But you're laughing and kikiing and high-fiving Giselle, and Giselle's the one who's doing a lot of the legwork for this, but you're ganging up on Candace. And of course, Candace can't help herself. She's got to run her mouth. It was like all throughout the season, she was trying to provoke Candace into an argument, and Candace kept walking away. She would apologize, she would walk away, she would do all the things that she was supposed to do, and it just all came to a head on fight night. Candace was running her mouth quite a bit, and you know, sometimes people can't take, it's not the smartest thing to do, but sometimes people can't take somebody in their face running their mouth like that because they're gonna grab them. So we get to the fight. They do a recap of everything leading up to the actual physical altercation. So it started with Charisse being invited without a heads up. Then we get to the actual physical altercation. See, this is the thing. Bravo likes to set up situations where people with high emotions are in the same tight little room, give them alcohol, get them slightly intoxicated, have somebody throw in a little one-liner like Giselle likes to do. Basically, it's what Giselle did, because she said, how you and Candace doing? She just threw that in there, just toss it in there. and keep them crammed up at the same table and say, action. I don't see how people don't see how this could have happened. Because you cram together drunk, arguing with somebody, and they're in your face, and you're in their face, of course, of course. So we do see that Giselle, because you see those little tacky metallic nails she loves to wear, you see her on Monique's shoulder pushing her, and that's when she started. Clear as day. Push, grab. So, and then Andy asked the question, like, yeah, why did you push her? And she's like, oh no, I was trying to tell her, stop this. Stop this. Girl, stop. You stop this, because this is some BS. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you, if two people are in each other's face arguing, you don't reach over and push them. See, that's why she should have grabbed Giselle. And even Monique said when they turned around from watching the recap, she said, oh, I thought that was Candace that pushed me. Then Andy brings up the fact that Monique has been tweeting, and I saw that, been tweeting about a glass being thrown, and then she grabbed. We all know that did not happen. Yes, you did get hit in the face at some point with a glass, but I mean, if you're holding a glass up and somebody grabs you by the hair, I am throwing whatever is in my hand. I'm not thinking about whether it's a piece of glass or anything. I'm just trying to get you to let go of my head. So I can understand why she would be. I mean, let's not act like if somebody else was in this situation and they had anything in their hands, they wouldn't be flailing it at the person who's holding on to their head. Then Andy asked the question, which is my question as well. I wanted to know this from the moment it happened. Why did you have a meeting the next day with all the other women? If you're not remorseful for what you did, which is, I mean, if you're not remorseful, you're not remorseful. I can't get mad at that. You did what you did, and that's just it. If anything, I have to respect you for being like, yeah, I did it, and that's how I felt. But why are you having this meeting with these women if you're not remorseful about the situation? What's the point of the meeting? Oh, you're apologizing to them that they had to sit through that? Why? Why are you still trying to prove yourself to these women? You're trying to prove your worth to Giselle and Robert and Ashley and Karen, and why? Why? You have more than all these women, and yet you are still trying to, I know I did that, I know I got out of character, but please still be friends with me. You don't need any of these women. So then they switch over to Candace and her tears. When Candace finally gets the footage, she doesn't even watch it. She claims that she got it in November, but she did not watch it until February. She may have been very hurt and embarrassed, which makes sense. I would agree with that. I'm not a medical professional that can diagnose PTSD or anything of that nature, so I'm not gonna say that she didn't have it, but I do feel like she is putting on, and she was putting on all throughout the season, to help her case for the lawsuit. She says she was angry and embarrassed, and I believe that's the main thing. I believe she is mostly embarrassed because the way that wig was like, I mean, you gotta give her props. That wig stayed in place, okay? It might have been a little more teased than normal, but it stayed on. That's what I'm saying, like, you're acting like you got dragged, and Monique is acting like she's this big bag, oh, I'm gonna pop you. Her wig didn't even move. It was still perfectly in place. All she had to do was brush it back down. You ain't do nothing, girl. Nothing. Let me see you do that with Robert. So of course, Candace has her dramatic exit, and she's like, I just need some space. I need a break. So she goes out to the dressing room to cry. Andy says Monique is very unemotional and dry about the fight. And to her credit, one of the last couple times that she was shot in the show, she is sitting with her pastor crying and saying, you know, actually admitting that her anger was misplaced and that Candace did not actually deserve what she got. I do agree. I will understand with her saying that she has gone through her emotions for this, and you know, we didn't see it, we missed it because she was being punished and she couldn't be taped. So I get that. However, girl, you're on this show and you are on this platform, which is an advantage. And this is your job. Now, Bravo says they don't condone violence, which, you know, with other franchises, there have been a lot more violence. But you see how this man is acting? Like, he was coming for her a lot. Like, he was very stern with her, and she was just very dry. Like, I mean, I don't care. I don't care that I did it, so what? So I did it. I mean, he can't get her to apologize. She's not remorseful for how she acted. I mean, I feel like if you want this job, if you care about this job, then you could at least apologize. Because, don't crucify me, even if you just say, for the sake of Andy shutting up, you could do the famous Bravo apology of, I'm sorry that you felt this way for yada yada yada. You know, they give these little fake apologies and everybody compares it to Portia, but you see Portia was falling out crying, oh my God, I disgraced myself. But I mean, she acted like she was remorseful. Now, if Monique doesn't want to act like she's remorseful, that's fine. And if Andy fires her for that, then she's gonna be just fine. As she said, I don't need this little check. Chris's investment portfolio is amazing. Okay, well, first of all, you're on this platform telling them that you don't need this little check. I'm all for a Black woman, you know, just being like, hey, I'm taken care of financially. I don't need this. I'm all for that, but it was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're in front of your boss telling him, I don't need this little check. Okay, well, go ahead, then go on. Go on. You don't need this little check, but you dropped $200,000 on Not for Lazy Moms, only for 20 people to show up to the live show. Girl, I just feel like they left off with Monique looking suspect because, I mean, everybody at this point is seeing what they want to see, especially on Twitter. Twitter was a madhouse, okay? Candace fans were saying the footage justified what they were saying. Monique fans were saying the footage justified what they were saying. It's just, at this point, you're gonna see what you're gonna see. And I feel like being that the evidence was so all over the place, that's why the courts dropped it. So, and that's the thing, that's her big, the courts dropped it. Girl, at the end of the day, both parties were in the wrong. Monique's anger was misplaced. She should not have touched her. Yes, she said this triggered her, but I mean, at this point, they should have separated them. If violence is so important to Bravo and that it should not be happening, it shouldn't be happening on these other franchises, and when you see people getting heated like this, separate them. I mean, honestly, they have to understand how to be a good judge of character for these women, because the point of the show is to flaunt money, talk crap, and argue with other women. So if you can't handle that and you feel like you've got to put your hands on somebody, and if you can't handle somebody putting a rat emoji of you on Twitter, then you shouldn't be on the show. So Candace can go, Monique can go. I don't care, because I feel like I've seen enough of Monique because of how she's acted this season. And I also feel like I've seen enough of Candace because of how she's acted this season. I love both of them, but I cannot. I can't. They were too much for me this season. I'm hoping that they can reconcile and, you know, be back next season, but it's not looking like it. It's looking pretty rough. So anyways, that was my review on the Real Housewives of Potomac. I am really enjoying this because this is juicy. So anyways, that was my review on the Real Housewives of Potomac. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think. Maybe I missed something. maybe I have a hidden bias somewhere. I mean, honestly, I think both of them were in the wrong, but whatever. So let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers!